play at either end. Kicked 6 against Port Adelaide last year. As this rain gets heavy and he's missed. So he just leant back on it a bit.
Been a very good clearance team, Adelaide, last year. Of course, Jacobs from ruck down to Thompson, etc. They're 5-1 in front of the clearances already, which is why the game has been played early in Adelaide's forward half.
So Adelaide by 7 points then. Taylor Walker continues to lead in the Coleman and goal of the year as this ball comes outside the 50. Up goes Sloan. Didn't take the mark, or is he going to get a free kick? I think he is. Sloan captured the imagination of a lot of supporters last season. Goes back inside the centre square. Riley, an architect from half back. This kick again spins awkwardly into the forward line. Off hands. John Cocker play on the football. Comes out to Hooker, who does exactly that. Back to midfield. Mark is taken by McKay. So important to the McKay. Provides a lot of run. He's about 75 metres from goal. Takes something off this kick towards the pocket, and Jenkins off hands, lurking behind his Hocking, ran into a dead end. Opportunity for Melcham, slaps it forward. Porpleish's got the football. John Cox got it now, collides with an Essendon defender. The look away hand pass from Walker was good. Little kick around the corner though, onto the chest of Hooker.
Deft touch by Tex there. Dangerous kick, Van Berlo, and Hibbert. Van Berlo did pretty well there. Back to right, back to Van Berlo. Van Berlo looks up and finds Douglas after Bagley's hands were there, and it just sort of got through them in the end.
The Adelaide coaching staff would be wrapped with the setup of the defences for Adelaide at the moment. They've really built a wall across half-back, and this time Van Berlo just holding his position, making sure there's no free outlet for the Bombers, and spots him up.
It's one of 10 Victorians playing for the Crows tonight. I say Victorians originating, of course, from there. Best and fairest a few years back. Had a hamstring problem last year. It sort of held him up. But he and Vince are now providing great depth to the midfield, being led by Thompson and Dangerfield, and Douglas gets the goal. Adelaide off to a good start now.
This situation, there's a million Essendon players back in the defensive 50 for the Crows, but one, they can't get it out, and secondly, you need to get one mark in there. It's a shot at goal.
Crows by 13. Raider goes up, wins it down decisively. Hot potato, that one. Came across to Porpleisha from Dangerfield, but out of the middle it's Watson. Kicking inside the forward 50. Hurley almost the mark. They need to make something of this. Hurley was taken down strongly. Nothing untoward about that. He threw his head back, I think, looking for a free kick, but the tackler stood his ground, as he often does, Riley. Doesn't make many concessions down there. He's got the ball about 30 metres out from his own defensive goal. He goes wide. Jenkins up high, and Jenkins is going to get the free kick. Something of a hermit crab, Jenkins. He moved right in. He's occupied Kirk Tippett's number, his locker, and his possession. There's Douglas through midfield, just outside the 50. This is not for 9. It goes through for a minor score.
And gave him a spray on the way.
That's right.
As he did all those things.
Leave me your shell.
Of course, former Bomber in a trade with the Merit, as it turned out. He's playing his second game tonight. They took the 31st draft pick for Jenkins, the Bombers. So mismarked there by the man in question, Merit.
Finding the Bombers a bit reactive at the moment. The Adelaide players getting the first step and dictating the play.
They just can't get a score on the board. They've been in the forward 50 a couple of times only, really. Dangerfield, funny old awkward kick. Goddard had to stand up. And then Myers got a handball away and a boundary throw in.
Great ground level ball. Adelaide are just getting first use, clearance and contested possession. They're #1 team in the competition last year, and they're smashing the contested 20-8 at this point. They just want it more at ground level.
Ryder and Jenkins and Dangerfield. The ball didn't quite work for him. Watson toe poked the ball forward. Dangerfield got to the contest. That was an interesting umpire's non-decision in a way. Dangerfield getting down low. Van Berlo's kick. John Cox. Good mark. He arrived at the club 4 kg lighter at the start of the year, did Stiffy, and he's going okay.
Kicks from inside the centre square, long down towards the pocket. What a good kick. He kicked that with intent. For Fleischer, not in position A, but he was headed back towards the goal, and John Cock, like a quarterback fighting a wide receiver there, just laid it out in his path. For Fleischer, deep in the pocket then. 30 goals last season, with a very valuable 3 against Fremantle in their semi-final. Not beyond him, his quality. Kicks, and he puts it through. This is the fast start. The Adelaide Crows have got the jump.
Interesting, isn't it, when he's 5 metres from the boundary line, right foot to the boundary line. I mean, that's about a 50-50 shot now with the ball skills and the ability to kick the banana kick, isn't it? And he got his 50%.
Looked really assured lining up for that, didn't he? Very confident.
It was such a great kick from John Cock, wasn't it?
Put him on the angle, but it was the only place really where he could advantage his forward.
And you saw 3 Essendon defenders all migrate towards Taylor Walker there, which opened up the space behind him.
He's had a difficult couple of weeks, poor Pleasure. Stomach ulcers after the Carlton game, but all okay tonight. Watson forward, Hurley, Talia. That's a good win for Talia. Hurley's been lively early. Or Hibbert's big fly up the back. Walker and Carlisle got involved. John Cock brilliantly done to Wright, who's normally a good kick. Well, that was just a bit too clever. Jenkins, he made it very hard for him, right? I don't know why he didn't go bang and kick the goal. And then getting down low, and that'll be interesting. It'll be a ball up.
He had 3 options. He could have had a shot at goal. He had two Adelaide teammates free, and he didn't actually quite execute any of them.
Petrenko was the lowest, and now Douglas trying to ride the tackle. Ball in dispute. John Cock got a hand on it, going nowhere.
His Richo picked up on it earlier. They're really driving in hard, the Crows players, when they're going at the ball, and also when the Bombers players have it. The intensity's been fantastic.
Umpire throws it up again. Get used to that. Knocked goalward by Petrenko. Douglas robbed of the football by Dempsey. Swirling through there was Dangerfield. Just misses. He's irrepressible in that situation.
It looks
Ball
like
to be won, he just goes in there regardless.
Heppel's trying to get to Dangerfield, but he's very hard to keep up with. He's on the move, Dangerfield, very quick.
Dustin Fletcher, age 37, game number 366. If you don't mind, he kicks it out towards the wing, off hands. Jacobs feigns a hand pass back in the Fletcher direction. Will he get to the contest? Well, next best thing was to fall on the ball. He did that. Carlisle's got it out of the back pocket, comes wide over the head of Goddard. Goddard, the 1 possession so far. He really is in the spotlight tonight. The big free agency signing in the off-season, the biggest. This kick back inside the forward 50. Watson, his 4th possession, camped in front, goes to Hooker. And Hooker, I think, has put it out of bounds again. He's done that a couple of times on the full.
They don't look like getting the ball out of that area, do Essendon, except just with the wild kick. No constructive run out of that back 50.
So Walker sets it up with a 50-metre kick to full forward. Hibbert again flew high. And Dempsey's handball just didn't find the target. Adelaide doing so well. And then Petrenko off the ground. And it's a behind. So Adelaide doing all the scoring here. 7 scoring shots to zip. Petrenko's had a few little injury worries as well. Had a shoulder problem. He and Porplegia were both slightly in doubt this week. Callanan did the test, didn't get through. Crouch was the 23rd man, obviously. John Cock probably on the edge. It's a shocking kick, but it came off, didn't it? Marked by Dempsey. They just need to steady here, the Bombers. You talked about composure, leadership.
But at the moment, it's just like they're just kicking over the man, the mark, kicking quick. They've just got no bounce out of there.
So Walker down very low there. So that's against Van Berlo getting down low. That's the one that's going to be the difficult one. Commer's little kick. He wants Myers. Van Berlo getting back.
Downfield free kick to Essendon. Okay, Essendon free kick. Downfield right there. Thank you.
So against Walker on Comer.
Comer with his first kick in league footy. As Myers goes short to Heppel.
Right on it.
Heppel looks towards the pocket. Too much carry, I think intended for Stanton, but if that was the case, it was a long way over his head as they worked the ball around in a triangle down there. It comes unglued. McKay gave it to Dangerfield. Got it across to Douglas, to Yench. Now Henderson breaks away from half-back. Telling kick. These are the two men forward of the ball. Knocking it back was Jenkins. Outnumbered, though, at least for the moment, the Crows, but they've done well despite a lack of numbers. Vince held on too long. And it will be a free kick to Essendon. Essendon had about 7-3 there, and they needed every one of them.
That's where you feel like they've got to score, because they've had a little bit of the ball in the last few minutes, pushing the ball forward to the centre. They just need to get a result here. Goddard very wide, Heppel short, and Myers even shorter. Now, he's got a pretty long kick on him. He just sets it up, hard ball to mark for anybody here. Cranberry, Jacobs front spot. Adelaide just in the right spots at the moment. The kick wide, Sloan and Hibberd. Sloan to Porplesia and back to Sloan. Comer tries to run him down and he kicks to space. He's trying to buy some time here, Sloan, and chases his own footy. Goes to ground though. And then Fletcher sort of tries to caress it and out of play. We asked you earlier live and interactive about Hurley. Where should he play? What position? Well, 64% feel that he should, 74 I should say that he should be at centre half forward, and you reckon that's where he's going to play a lot of his footy?
I'm with the majority. He tacks the ball too hard to play defence, in my opinion.
And he did say earlier this week that's where he wants to play up forward. Realises at times he might have to go back.
Gee, that's interesting, Lee. Just a quick explanation.
Defenders need to play with composure. If they tack the ball too hard, they give their forwards, you know, they're too hit or miss. They give their forwards too much chance.
Crows by 22 points. The ruckman touched that ball in flight. Well done by Watson, falling to the ground. Releases Dempsey. Dempsey inside the centre square, the back end of it now. Goes out towards the wing, kept his head, did nicely. Heppel, with the rain increasing as he goes down to Howlett. So Dyson Heppel up to 7 possessions. Howlett runs around, a long kick, but this one is tapering off towards the pocket. And the man we spoke of just moments ago takes the mark on a chest. That is very, very strong. Runs around, opens the angle, snaps, gives it some body English and misses.
Interesting technique there from Michael Hurley. Took a few steps out for the drop punt. With a bit more confidence, perhaps would have snapped it round his body.
Dangerous kick. Douglas did really well there. Riley asked a bit of him in these conditions. Then back to Riley. Riley's wide kick. Sloan in the contest with Heppel. Battle of the hair there, isn't it? Two real young guns and so popular. Heppel again. Deep at half forward. Short and paid to Hurley. So he's up and about. They're key forward to the pocket, and Otten just getting in front of Cranberry there and building it away. He's lost a bit of weight, Otten. He decided he wanted to get a bit thinner. He had the problem with the knee a couple of years back. Never quite got back last year to his rising star type form when he was in the mix in his first season. Riley underneath, Bell Chambers, Douglas involved, still not coming out. Now to right misses McKay. Hurley productive, back to Heppel.
He's been terrific, Heppel, 55 metres out, but that's not his best effort. It wanders out of bounds on the full.
One of the things you remember about Essendon in their first 2 months of last year, they just were so quick. I mean, they just were so lively and so quick. Just in this early stage, I know it's wet conditions, hard to run the footy, but they just don't seem to have any zip about them in this early, certainly compared to the Crows.
Right, out of the back pocket then. Hit in the face was Jenkins, swooping on the loose ball. Going after it again was Goddard, got left boot to it. Sends it virtually straight up in the air, not 15. Sloan was run over. Comes towards Jenkins. Well, enterprise shown as he kicked it forward. He follows up again. Socked away by Johncock, his teammate, though. Opportunity for Dempsey. It's pretty slippery, that footy. This guy will do something with it, though. He's played in every condition known to man. Ball comes across towards Merritt, the youngster.
He probably even played on muddy ground, Dennis, way back.
And he will be a free agent at the end of this season. I'm not ruling it out, Lee. I don't care what you say. There goes the kick from Hocking, back towards the middle. That was touched. Up comes Cranberry, bounces off his chest. In goes Ryder. And that ball just trickles back amongst about 3 or 4 sets of legs. Is it coming out? Well, almost. Goddard slides in. Well played by Thompson. Heard a voice and went to Vince.
And back to that potential free agent, and goes bang with a torpedo and gets it flying. Well, Talia and Sloan run into one another. Comer in the pocket. Still Comma, gets around, can kick a goal, and just misses. Just on that free agent, do you reckon Tucky would have gone somewhere else at the end?
It was the last, well, Kevin Bartlett as well. Not many players are playing into their late 30s. That is rare.
But Tucky wasn't happy when he
No,
retired, was
that's right. He wasn't happy when he was retired in about his 20th season after the 91 grand final.
Riley to himself then. Comes to our broadcast side. Melksham up behind, got a fist on it. Thompson in position A, gives it to Brown. Now it comes across to Vince. That has to be precise. It wasn't. Bagley had a play on the ball, knocked it down to Davey. Sold Halton to trouble. It was a careless hand pass. Cramry across to Melksham. Melksham spirals one towards half forward, reaching over the top Van Berlo, and he knocks it out of bounds. And speaking of signings, Van Berlo signed up for another 3 seasons earlier this week, the skipper.
Just seeing young Jackson Merritt is playing on Rutten. He's getting up the ground and getting lost, and Rutten is just sifting off, and it's getting in the way of Hurley down there.
Last 8 minutes, 7 inside 50s to 2 the Bombers' way, but they just haven't been able to put it on the board. Douglas, now Adelaide having problem getting it past there. Centre square line. Carlisle puts Hibbert under the pump. He had to get rid of it in a hurry, and he did. And that can create some space and time now. Myers, long one. Now Stanton at the back of Van Berlo. Cramry, good mark from the side. Just slipped Riley a little.
And that's the way you have to attack when you're playing on Brent Riley, particularly when the ball's in there. You've got to go with some real conviction. He's great at setting up the play and being the third man in, but if you're the target like Cramry was there, eyes on it from a long way out influence the contest.
He reflected their year, Cramry, last year, didn't he? Brilliant early and then fell away a bit. He had some injury problems, I know. Leading goal kicker at the club last year. About half of what Walker ended up with for the Crows, and careful with the kick. And that's a disappointing result. So the Bombers have had 3 chances here, and they crawl up to 3. Cramry just a little sore. He's a combative player, great athlete, often carrying an injury or 2, and that misses the mark and a boundary throw in.
Talking about Stuart Cramry, 32 goals last year, Bruce. Now, since the war, that's the Second World War, only 3 players have won that award with fewer goals. 24, 31, and 31. In 2010, Angus Monfries, John Burton, Alan Noonan, back in the distant times of 58 and 71. There's Dangerfield, had the footy, stripped of it. Hand pass comes out from White, close to the boundary line. Petrenko tracks it out of bounds. We'll have a throw in.
John Burt was about 5'4", Dennis. He ended up coming to South Australian at West Torrens for a long time here.
Very clever rover, wasn't he? So a throw in right at the interchange gates. Just missing a Dangerfield. Hawking kicked into Yench. Opportunity for Thompson. Was that in the back? I think it was. So Comma, by virtue of the fact he put himself in, wins the free kick. Wants to go. Gives it to the Brownlow medalist. Clever. Back to Comma. Can do no harm. Comma drives it long inside the forward 50. Lurking at the back. Rutten goes after it. Not under real pressure. Needs to be careful here. And this one is taken out of bounds. That's got to be deliberate.
Yeah, no doubt about that one.
Look, they won't remember it in the stadium, I think.
Not even a sidestep to sort of feign trying to keep the ball in there, Brent Riley.
Well, 2 problems there, because Rutten had to contend with perhaps a changing of the interpretation on deliberate behind, and then certainly under the old interpretation, Riley was guilty. But they are going to be hard up on those 2 things this season. This kick from Merritt is out of bounds on the full, so no damage done. Riley gets what he was after. He's got the ball out of bounds.
Such an important player, isn't he? I mean, Doughty leaving now, obviously retiring. Riley, more marks than any other Crow last year. Took a lot of contested marks as well. He's sort of almost their quarterback, and wasn't too far away from All-Australian selection, would have thought, last year.
Yeah, right in amongst the mix, and you could see the influence that defensive coach Darren Milburn has had on Brent Riley's career. Played a very similar role for Geelong in those successful years.
Well, before Milburn came, he was really a run-with player. Yep. He's settled down back, hasn't he? Milburn, you feel like his influence continues to grow at this club?
Gee, the clearances are going to be critical in this game. Essendon done better the last bit, because once the ball's in your forward half, neither side looked like really getting it out of their defence to sort of run it with any creativity.
But in general play, Essendon's certainly enjoying a better patch here than the Crows over the last 10-12 minutes, but nothing on the scoreboard to reflect that.
Just watch the ruckman here, the new interpretation of the rule, having to stand off each other. in years gone by, they'd engage a lot earlier than that. Good rule, I reckon.
So it's Jacobs and Bill Chambers. Myers sort of just handled the ball, almost threw it down to Watson. Riley, we're talking about Talia. Ball pushed forward. Rutten couldn't quite get hold of it, the truck, and then clever handball by Ryder to Davey. Running hard, can they bring him down? Good pace coming from Otten. Comma's been up and about the last few minutes. Brought down, he might be in strife now. That ball getting out. Otten just gets a handball away, not very far. Stanton, can he get a goal? Can he get enough on it? Yes, he can. And the Bombers are on the board. One of Dennis's series, Davey more dangerous when he hasn't got the footy, just his presence there, you know.
Yeah.
It makes a difference, doesn't he?
Makes people nervous, doesn't he?
Yeah. So quick. Good finish.
Speed. Fair to say they needed that one.
Good for he's been. Gee, that Comma, their first game has almost been their spark a bit the last 5 minutes. Just 3 or 4 really good, urgent involvements.
Crows by 13 points then, back in the middle. Good bounce on the way down. Jacobs almost took clean possession. Bill Chambers, though, crumbed it from him. Kicks towards half forward. Taken by Dangerfield. Slips a hand pass away. In trouble is McKay. His hand pass goes straight to an opponent there in Stanton. Or was it? It was Stanton, I think, down towards the pocket. And it goes out of bounds in front of Watson. So a throw in. About 15 metres around from the behind post. By his lofty standards. Stanton quite quiet. Just the 4 possessions.
Watson going forward here. Interesting. Riley picking him up. That big body of Watson. Handy in that goal square. Here is Stanton again. Got a shove in the back. No free kick. And now on top of it. And the ball coming out. Hocking belting the ball forward. Otten takes the mark.
Just need to steady here, the Crows. The Bombers been on top the last 5 or 6 minutes. Getting the ball forward. So just some safe options here for the Crows would be the go.
As Lee said, it's just been so difficult for either team.
It's like a territory game, isn't it? If you can get territory, you stop the opposition from scoring for sure.
Vince and Douglas together there. Now Vince gets the free from the back.
Thanks, Brendan.
Both best and fairest, Vince and Douglas. I reckon Brenton Sanderson would have challenged them at the start of this year. They were okay last year. They're both talented players, both goal kickers. Bernie had a pretty good season. Won the tuck medal at the start of last year for the NAB Cup final. Down the line.
In front of the interchange gates, Bill Chambers, intent on spoiling that one, did so. Spills wide close to the boundary. Myers leads back in the race, then lost it. White's got it. Closing seconds of the term, Riley kept it in. Heppel was taken high. It won't matter. Siren for quarter time. Adelaide certainly dominant early, but full credit to Essendon. They dug in, and as Lee mentioned, young Comma, one of the reasons why they've come back. It's down by 13. As play restarts. Big leap Bill Chambers. Jacobs, though, showed the judgment. 8th possession there for Wright. Gave it across to support. The kick comes down towards half forward from Riley. Off hands taken by Watson. Slips a hand pass away. Now Dempsey takes them on. Can he get away? Yes, he can. Dempsey still going. No roadblocks up ahead. Kicks from 60 metres out. Long to the square. Going back. Getting a fist on it and doing very well was Otten. Little 1-2 worked by Brown. And the ball comes out wide. Missed by Sloan. Over it is Myers. That was a clever toe poke too. Directed the ball to Stanton. Now Myers sends it back inside the forward 50. In front Cramry. Spinning out of trouble. Cramry throws it on the boot and kicks a goal. Well done. They just stuck at it.
Look solid down there, haven't they? Hurley and Cramry. When the ball has actually got to that part of the ground, they've both looked pretty competitive in the air. When if you're going to lob the ball anywhere, lob it 15 metres out. The offensive side gets it, the open goal's on.
He's a player, Stuart Cramry, that you've really got to keep your eye on. Makes the first effort, hits the ground and goes straight after. Just got the step there on Andy Otten. Really, really valuable key forward now for the Bombers.
Last 12 inside 50s to the Bombers here.
Yeah, game's changed the last 15 minutes.
So, and they're going to go forward again here. Heard the umpy. So it has to go on now. Yench, and ripped away from him, and Howlett goes and kicks a goal. They've kicked 3 in a hurry, and it's just about all square now.
I mentioned very early in the game how the clearances, I think, was 7-1 Adelaide's way. Well, all of a sudden, Essendon now it's 11-9. I mean, they've started to win the clearances, got the ball into their forward half, and just the first couple of goals of the second quarter is reward for what they've done the last 15 minutes.
Really did expose the Crows when the ball came out the back end of the pack. Unguarded. Open run to goal for Howlett. Jacobs doing well. Taps it down. Stolen away again though by Stanton. They're crumbing very well in there. Across half forward. Merritt comes towards Myers. Myers holds his ground at the wing. Watson getting so much of it. Penetrating kick inside the forward 50. In from the side doing well Otten. And he gets it out of bounds. We'll have a boundary throw in.
That was the role that Otten played when he was at his best as a young player and the rising star. And they're going to need to help out in the air at the moment, because with his quick forward inside 50s the Bombers are getting, it's one-on-one contests.
David Zaharakis is the sub for Essendon. Limited pre-season, but these sort of conditions would suit him. Another former best and fairest winner. Thompson out of defence and holding on. And it will go to Walker against Carlisle.
Long way from those goals. So Watson up to 13 disposals. At least 3 more than anybody else on the field so far. A couple of crucial clearances in this term. Walker, it's a good kick. So clever, he kept it down low and gave Jenkins every opportunity here.
They used to say Tony Lockett, when he trained with the group and did the cone to cone, was as good a kick as they had at St Kilda and Sydney. You get the feeling Tex might be the same at the Crows.
So Jenkins back towards Walker, so 2 places at once right here. Myers and then Hocking. Started on Thompson, as you would have expected. He's with Dangerfield just for this moment. So Hocking, just a little wonder. Hibbert, a couple of strong guys there, the 2 H's. Hibbert, one of 3 mature age players from Frankston at Essendon this year. Bagley, another one playing tonight. Speaking of mature age players, and here's Bagley getting it from Fletcher to Carlisle. So a little bit of poise here from Essendon. Carlisle off a step out wide.
High ball just beyond the wing. Rutten bodies up with Ryder. Ryder's going to get the free kick, is he?
Holding, arms around.
So Ryder, the recipient of the free, just lays it to space. Running hard was Melcham. Steers the kick down towards the pocket. Bounces just in front of the moving target. That was Goddard. Kept it alive. Still in. Sloane's been terrific. Gathers the footy. Hand passes outside the 50. Guess who? Heppel. Met solidly by Otten, though, and the ball ricochets out of bounds. So it's gone up a twist or two, this one. Adelaide suddenly realising that Essendon are not there for the taking. They're going to have to earn it. Jacobs again decisively that time down to a teammate. Scott Thompson gives it to Riley. Riley, awkward looking kick out of bounds on the full. So Bagley, who enjoyed a very good pre-season, James Hird, he's won as many as he's lost as coach of Essendon. He's 22 and 22. There's Carlisle. So big game for him tonight. He could tip into the red. I suppose he's comfortable in the black or the red. He's proven that. There's Hooker. Drives it towards the outer side wing. From behind, Hibbert slightly mistimed his jump but got a fist to it. John Cock got the crumb. 2 to chase. John Cock realised someone had to be free over there. It was Vince. Vince kicks down towards the 50. Jenkins outnumbered. Came off his hand though. Falls in front. Darting in was Dangerfield. Could have been pushed in the back. No free kick. Poor Pleasure to Riley. Riley goes long down towards full forward. Well, both the players expected the other to go for it, those Essendon boys. And eventually Carlisle takes it across the line. Just a lack of talk. They looked at each other. Their eyes met. No fireworks.
Could be some fireworks here for the Crows. As Henderson, can he get it bending back? So this is the first time, these couple of occasions, that Adelaide have had the ball in the forward 50 for 21 minutes.
Yeah, it's been a domination by Essendon in just the possession gathering in where the game's being played.
Crows lead by 3 points. Hugging the line. Stanton, who got that all-important drought breaker, didn't he, late in that opening term? So off that step. He's going to go down that line, and Cranley just slipped Otten cleverly there, and then belts the ball long. Bill Chambers has got back. That's a good mark. Yench giving away the height. So Bill Chambers now, if he gets it down quickly, it's a one-on-one with Hurley, and he's toe poked it almost to Hurley. Talia with him, good contest again. Howlett involved. Riley just through his fingers. Davey clever. Howlett, Thompson and Vince want the same footy. Thompson belts it down the line. Watson, still Watson. Comma, well done. Watson can't quite get the right angle. And Lee mentioned Comma late in that first quarter as being important, and that was a good little
give. He got speed. He's got a little bit of zip about him.
Watson, who got the 3 Brownlow votes, by the way, when they played here last year late in the season. He's having a big start to this match.
And a losing team too, Bruce. What, they lost by 4 points. Here's Talia on the outer side, taken down by Howlett. That could be holding the ball. And just for a moment or two now, we've seen indecision from these Crows. Hurley with the left boot, sends it long down towards full forward. Riley goes back. No easy ball to mark that. It is if there's nobody else on the paddock. This ball bounces out of bounds in the opposite pocket.
Boys, Dangerfield just came off with Heath Hocking. He has not touched the ball this quarter. It's been a great tagging performance from Hocking. Really helped the Bombers get back into this game.
Boundary throw in right on the 50 then. Adelaide by 2 points on a Friday night. Jacobs did well. Got it down to Sloan. His kick half smothered. Darting in there was Henderson, met pretty solidly. Off the boot of Riley, it came to Sloan. Kicks inside the centre square. Latching onto it, Douglas. Latching onto him, there was Merritt. Coming through is Hibbard.
Cop the high one. At least suddenly they look quick, the Bombers. You talked
they've
about
got a bit
earlier.
of space now. As soon as Dempsey gets the ball, he's the one that really gets them going from halfback.
Howlett off a step, looks a good kick. And it is. It was just so well weighted to advantage.
Nothing beats kicking the ball well, and we saw at the start of the game the Bombers looked a bit shaky, turned the ball over, but they've certainly been a lot more assured probably halfway from that first quarter, and they're starting to get uncontested marks and creating space as a result. And the Crows are having to defend, and Bombers right on top at the moment.
He had the moon boot, of course, at the end of last year when he did his ankle. He went overseas with the moon boot, Bill Chambers, but he's really convinced Hurdy, hasn't he, in the last couple of seasons, that he's their #1 ruckman, and Essendon are in front for the first time tonight.
Got options in their forward line, haven't they, Essendon, all of a sudden? Bell Chambers marked that one, but Cranley and Hurley, they both look dangerous. They look like they've got a few options in the air.
The big names at the Bombers are Watson and now Goddard, but Bill Chambers is really important. He's gone forward now. You saw he looked as a natural forward coming out of the goal square. They've got Ryder in the ruck, so starting to exert his influence in the start of this second quarter, Bill Chambers.
Essendon 3 goals to none in this term. How will they call that?
The Crows have just brought Dangerfield back on the ground, straight to full forward on Dustin Fletcher.
That didn't involve the ruckman. Keppel pushed in the back, off the ball, alongside the centre circles, kicks down towards half forward. Getting back is Van Berlo, slips a hand pass away to Porplesia. Otten right half back towards the wing. In front, Jenkins was held on the way up. He's going to get the free kick.
Got a feeling he's got to get a lot of free kicks in marking contests. I don't think he's going to mark many.
He's a Burley customer. Told to play on, but it doesn't mean you have to play on, if that makes sense. You can stand there all afternoon or night if you want to. It's a question of if they decide to come at you.
Now, it's a big generalisation, but at the moment, Walker's the only one who looks like getting in the air for the Crows. It's like a one-man forward line, whereas Essendon have got Hurley, they've got Cranberry. Bell Chambers looks dangerous when he's down there. Very hard when you want out.
Those umpires do get a bit hysterical, though, when they tell you to play on, don't they, Lee? I mean,
Once you've told the player, you've done your job as
That's
an umpire,
right.
I suppose.
They've got to work on their mark side manner. As the ball goes inside the forward 50, here's a chance for Dempsey. Overran the football. Taken by Stanton, put down solidly. He went to ground with the footy, actually. I think he'll be pinged for holding it, though. The umpire says he was making a genuine attempt. Fair enough.
Strong in the tackle. Texas had to work on that tackling. Just suspended a couple of times last year, wasn't he? Lee, you mentioned the goals. I mean, 80 goals not there tonight with Tippett obviously not playing, and Callanan. They both kicked 39 last year, so it is a different forward line for the Crows. And Walker seems to be, well, clearly the man, we know that, but needs the support tonight. Bagley got it from David. Gets the ball wide. Crameri and Otten have had an interesting duel. Crameri's goal was very important. Otten under pressure. Merritt's looked lively. He's pretty light, isn't he? But he gets that ball away. And then tap back, well done by Crameri. Push forward by Watson. Well done by Vince. Good hands by Douglas. Releases Porplesia. Gets it to Henderson. He's a long way from home. Kicks to full forward. John Cock. Dangerfield. Still with John Cock. It's free kick.
Worked hard for that, John. What about the closing speed of Dustin Fletcher, still at 37 years old?
He's no less athletic than he was about 20 years ago.
Paddy Dangerfield came out of the square. He's lightning quick. There's the free kick. Not much doubt in that.
15
Dustin
seconds,
Fletcher.
man.
Unbelievable.
Yep.
It's lucky you missed him with the slide of the knees there.
Well, 10 years ago, he was the leading goal kicker at the club, John Cock. So he's played at both ends a lot. And he's hit that with a hook. So the Crows inaccurate here. They've had 3-7 to 4-4.
Speaking of Dustin, I think he's up for the 20-year reunion on 83, isn't he? Premiership?
93 premiership, yeah.
93, sorry, there's my maths. Taylor Walker. Oh, comma! Landed flat on his back. The inverted comma. There goes the kick by Riley. Down towards full forward. Missed down there by Hibbert. And across the line for a behind.
What are you working on? He could turn up at his own. Is that what you think? He could turn up at his own sort of.
Well, Tucky probably did it Nine-side. Do you think? I'm just trying to work it out. Probably not. Probably not. There wouldn't have been that far between Tucky's first and when he played for 20 years. Meantime, John Cock kicks and gets it through. Graham John Cock gets a much-needed goal.
Look fit there, doesn't he?
Yeah, no, 4 kg he lost, which is a fair bit of weight. That's what's that, 9 pound?
A percentage of your body weight. Something being had a look at here.
Anything from the middle, Brett? Everyone's 100% confident. No, checked.
Score review then.
It's gone up. Scotty, go up.
It's gone up.
Score review. We'll leave it to goal, Scotty.
So score review here now, late call. So
I reckon he's having a look at whether it brushed the left post, boys. Left goal post. It did look pretty close.
Not for me.
it didn't deviate at all, did it?
Shadow on the post.
The
Goal
umpire
umpire
still
couldn't have been in a better position.
He's got a better view than the video, hasn't he?
Yep.
Vision's inconclusive. Confirm the goal.
It is a goal. It is a goal. You've already awarded it. Yeah, just confirming.
So confirmation, eh? It's been good, John Cock.
Yeah.
And he does look leaner.
Yeah, he certainly does. He's been renowned for coming back a little bit portly, but looks in great shape. Get Brad Crouch out of the side. Exciting young player for the Crows. Just a safe bet, 250 games, really good player.
So out of the centre. Crows getting that advantage back. Sloane's been fantastic. Goes back, Henderson. Probably Douglas's ball there in a better position, but Henderson then wastes the footy. That's a poor kick off a step to Vince out wide. Good tight match, isn't it? Adelaide kicked the first 3, the Bombers got the next 4. Adelaide with a point or two and then getting back with the John Cock goal.
Crows lead it by 4 then. As we said earlier, both these sides red hot at the start of last season.
Oh, there, Josh.
Free kick going to Bill Chambers. He was terrific in the NAB Cup. To Heppel. He's been terrific tonight. Kicks beyond the wing. Well, sort of. By about 5 metres, the mark is taken by Riley. Miscued with the kick, and now Riley can send Adelaide back towards their half-forward line. Decides against that and goes out to the wing. Very wide. Jensch. Just for the moment, they're stagnant. Jensch getting a little frustrated by the look on his face. Sends a very high ball down towards the attacking 50. Bill Chambers up, couldn't hang on. Hitting the pack hard was right. He was taken high. Rewarded for that endeavour and courage. So Wright told to play on. 75 metres from goal. Down towards full forward. Dangerfield sandwiched between 2 Bombers. Finds it again on the ground. Tries to sling it out of there. After it goes Bill Chambers. It's a rolling maul eventually, and the umpire calls for it.
And as the pattern of the night now, it's all Adelaide. I mean, Essendon having trouble getting it past centre. Seen this throughout the night. Hibbert heard the call. Dempsey, important at the beginning of this term. Watson trying to get it out. Jenkins there with him. That ball just unable to get loose. Now slipping through a couple of fingers. And they're going to throw up.
In a funny sort of way, Hibbert was lucky he didn't connect with that ball. It would have been a blind kick out, and I reckon the Crows' defensive structure was much better set up.
Can the Bombers get it free? Thompson so strong in the crunch there. Portplesia trying to get it to right to Vince. They just can't get a clear ball, Adelaide. Good pressure. It was Comer putting the tackle on there. Howlett tried to break through. Ryder, well done. Comer again. Henderson's very quick, we know that. Works to the front. Comer with him. Henderson wins the free kick. So not a lot happening in the last minute or two. Adelaide battling away in their forward 50.
But it is tough. Henderson trying to cement a place in defence and doing a pretty good job so far. Hibbert at the other end trying to do the same thing. Juggles the mark, dogged by hamstring injuries last season, but he's a dasher. Comes across to Carlisle. Carlisle at centre half back. Told to play on, goes to Myers. Myers the high ball towards the wing. Will it get there in time? Davey had to wait. It didn't arrive in time. Over the top, Otten did brilliantly. Lefty's man came up the ground and got it out of bounds. Not a stat for that. Well, maybe just a spoil. Not a sexy stat, but gee, that was important. Tossed in. Brilliant. Jenkins down to right. Kicks it down towards half forward. Carlisle again in the pack. Hands to it. Smothered off the boot of Dempsey. Close to the boundary line. Dangerfield. Well, he was met by 2 Bombers right on the line. The ball stayed in. Dangerfield didn't. Over the football now is Myers. Could have been pushed in the back. No free kick. We'll have a ball in. Just under 7 minutes out from half-time. 4 points the Crows.
Trying to impose himself here, Dangerfield. He flew for a mark a moment ago. That bit of play. Jacobs and Bill Chambers. Heppel so good. Watson, well done by Wright to Jacobs. That's a good kick by Jacobs to a dangerous spot. And Hooker and Portplesia see it over the line for behind.
So those stoppages where Dustin Fletcher's running with Dangerfield at the moment. He's playing as a permanent forward. At a stoppage or a ball up is where Dangerfield get really dangerous, get on the move, expose Dustin Fletcher.
11 minutes since the Bombers have been inside 50. So Fletcher's long kick out to Watson. Now they're going to go inside 50. Comer.
They're combining well, that pair. Comer goes through midfield, waiting for the forward to move. Cranberry did that. The kick didn't arrive quickly enough. Falling over, Meriden goes Riley. Clean hands, Riley snapped it away. Feeds it back, Jensch, run down by Comer. He puts himself about the boy Comer. This ball, though, onto the chest of Wright for the Crows, nevertheless. Comes to the skipper. So Van Berlo just forward of half-back. The game at a very interesting stage now. 5 points the difference. Van Berlo wants someone to come at him. Well, Dempsey did. Off his hand, I think it was intended for Vince, but the angle was never right. Now it's going to go against Vince in a collision with Hurley. Hurley running far and wide for possessions. Seen him a lot tonight out near the boundary, and this time he's on the boundary at the wing. He kicks down towards the attacking 50 or just beyond. Goddard is going to get a free kick here, is he? Well, he sold it. He was in front. Umpire had a perfect view of that one, only about 25 metres away to the right. Virtually straddling the 50. So he saw something and Goddard's got the football. Goddard, 4 disposals. Been quiet so far. Right behind this kick from Goddard, and that is a classy looking kick. It's working back, it's working back. Beautiful draw. It's a goal. Essendon lead 34-33.
Hasn't been able to get a lot of the footy tonight so far, but he's a good finisher, isn't he? If he can get a chance to have a pot anywhere near 50-metre line, Goddard is a long, accurate kick.
This is why you want Brendan Goddard getting the ball inside forward 50. A beautiful kick for goal. Only had the 5 touches tonight, but he has pushed forward and tried to present inside 50. Been a criticism in the past, getting too much ball in the back half.
Gee, read it brilliantly, and Hocking read it best and goes right to full forward. Rutten and Watson. Good mark by Rutten. And that was only 1 kick for Goddard. You felt that was such an important kick for him, though. I mean, new club, it's what he does well. Hasn't had a lot of footy, and he dobbed it. And that's a terrible kick by Rutten. But it was a really good
man
moment
too.
for Goddard. Yeah.
Goddard's got it again.
And then delivers it, and asks a fair bit there of Stanton. Davey gets back to Stanton. Now to Melsham, off a step. The bounce important. Comma, we've talked about a lot. Watson got down low. Howler can kick his second, and he does. And the Bombers get a little breathing space.
Doesn't the good centre bounce make a difference? I mean, that was just a perfect big guy to little guy rider to Hocking and drive it forward, and all of a sudden the defence is just completely out of position.
Sounds really simple, but the game's ebbed and flowed with the kicking efficiency, and Ben Rutten really normally assured with his ball use, but the Bombers started off sloppy. Certainly they've got on their game now. The Crows battling in that area.
Paddy Ryder on the tap. He's been very quiet tonight so far. Hebbels over the football. Stanton came off the line, fumbled, worked forward by Sloan. Opportunity for John Cock falling to the ground. Vince a half opportunity. Did nicely. Feeds it back. Taken by Dangerfield. Dangerfield down towards full forward. Was that a push in the back? Fletcher came flying out of there. Putting the body in well was Hooker. Hooker head down trying to get out of that pack. In the opposite direction was Jenkins. And the umpire calls for it. Ben Howlett, unsung, but he's a clever little player. Does the dirty work as far as the Bombers are concerned. Fletcher moved it about 15 metres. There's Howlett again with the outside of the boot, sending it back inside the centre square. Merritt is quick, runs onto the ball. Just 2 men forward of the play. Rutten had it bounce off his chest. Watson, a couple of players now streaming back for the Bombers, one of whom is Hurley. Gee, he ran hard, and he's taken the mark about 30 metres out, slight angle.
As soon as Rutten dropped the mark, you knew that Watson was going to be a quicker reaction at ground level to get the second effort ground level ball, and beautiful vision on the way in.
And Hurley had just come straight off the interchange bench, ran forward at just the right time and got away from Talia.
So this could be huge. 7 points the margin right now. A chance to make it 13. With the clock running down to half-time, and he's missed. It's a disappointing miss. That's one thing about this rule, Lee, that they want them to kick it quicker, but you go on a run like that, you run 100 metres or something, it's a pretty harsh rule when you've got to get up and kick it straight away.
So Jacobs out of play. So Watson's spending a lot of time in the forward 50 tonight.
Yeah.
Missed a large chunk of the pre-season, came back, played the last game.
That's what elevated him from a good midfielder to a really good one, when he could go forward and actually be a dangerous goal kicker as well as the midfield getter.
Winning a Brownlow doesn't mean you're a really good midfielder, Lee?
No, that's what I mean, but that's what he did the last year or two. He's actually started to go forward and be a target forward, so he's had another string to his bow.
He's got the body for it, hasn't he?
Yeah.
So hooker back, Hibbert. See the Bombers with a real chance here to get a little grip on this at half-time. Huge flight from the back, Bell Chambers. Just couldn't get the ball out. It was a Dangerfield on the bottom. They're not sure. He often is. So Adelaide led by 22 points. It is Dangerfield at one stage. It was 22-0. And now the Bombers with a real chance to extend the lead.
Jacobs, very good again there, got it down. McKay out of the congestion, only as far though as Dempsey. Dempsey aided by a good Shepherd initially, but run down still by Sloan. Here's a terrier, Sloan. Look at him work in there, gives it to his captain. Van Berlo scrambles a kick towards the outer side. Petrenko off after it. Hibbert is with him. Petrenko fancies himself, thinks he can take him. And again, down towards the pocket. Well, he's got help going across on the angle for Bleacher, but he can't get there in time and it's out of bounds. Still, that was well worth a couple of kicks because they've got a stoppage in a dangerous situation. Boundary throw in, under 2 minutes to half time. Essendon by 8. Stanton again. Or rather, the big fellow Jacobs again. Wow, trying to earn a free kick. Was he? What was he doing there? Petrenko just dived like a misguided missile around the outer side. Howlett, little chip up to the wing.
To Stanton. Bombers with some good run here. They've looked a better team since quarter time, that's for sure. And for much of the latter part of that first quarter. Was it a mark to Melsham or not?
What was Petrenko thinking there, moments ago, just diving into the player's legs?
Yeah, he didn't make contact, otherwise it was not going to be an automatic free kick against him, wasn't it? He slid into the player's shins.
So there's the kick down close to the boundary line, off hands, and a boundary throw-in. Clock stops, 1:12 to go. 41-33. Entertaining game, this one. Both sides have had a fair share of dominance. Doing well, Bell Chambers gave it out the back to Dempsey. His kick slides off the outside of the boot. I think that bounced inside the field of play. Will get a boundary throw in. And what is a dangerous situation now for the Crows. They need to hold here. Just over a minute to go. And here the umpire telling the ruckman what to do. Bell Chambers and Jenkins. The ball's in flight now, so they can lock up. Trying to hook it down behind Bell Chambers. Dangerfield went to ground. So too Van Berlo. Over the footballer's got out. Needs to be careful. Trying to wrench it out of there is Stanton. And that ball's not coming out.
Played it well. Goddard was really reluctant to get right on top of the ball there and bring it in. That's when you got Joe Watson playing as a forward. He's pretty dangerous around this sort of setup.
Let's see if he can get his hands on it, Tom. You reckon there's one chance here for a score to come to the Bombers? Quick kick by Otten. Dempsey's been so good in this quarter with his run off half-back wing, and now he can kick the goal before half-time to make it really uncomfortable for Adelaide here at the long break.
I think we wondered about how the press would work in the NAB Cup. They seem to get out really quick, but you get to round one, as soon as the ball's been in your forward 50, gee, it's been hard for the defence to get it out without just a sloppy kick. Hope for the best, as that one was.
Not a prolific goal kicker, as you saw, but he's got good skills, and he's kicked it very, very well. And Essendon have got a good lead here. He's been one of the players of the first half, Dempsey. It was his quickness, I think, Lee, in many ways in this quarter that really got them rolling, Dempsey.
Yeah. Well, I mean, it's really it always starts at the stoppage situations. I mean, who's getting the ball into your forward half? It's just the game tonight. Once you get it into your forward half, it's very hard for the opposition to get it out. But so it's really ebbed and flowed on basically that stoppage clearance area.
So 6-goal second term for Essendon. So most of the goals to the left of the screen to the northern end tonight. Had howling winds here yesterday, but the windiest day in the history of South Australia, I reckon, but not tonight. It's just been some great work by the Bombers, particularly in this area here. And before Thompson can get the kick. So half-time, it's all set up, isn't it? The underdog, who've had a horrible build-up, lead the home team. It's Essendon 47 to Adelaide 33.
He's been dominant, but he was very much a catalyst for getting Essendon back in the game late in that first term when they couldn't buy a goal. They were being overrun by the Crows. It was his body work, throwing himself in, that set the tone. Brendan Goddard, just saw him, quiet so far. Started the second half on Friday Night Football. Fell at the ruckman's feet. After it goes Watson, and we've got a whistle.
Separate in the ruck.
Joe Watson has just carried on tonight as he finished last season. Jacobs flicks it back over his shoulder, taken by Dangerfield. Well, he drags a few with him. Left the ball behind. Bell Chambers into the path of Stanton. Well played. Myers. Now Watson finessing. Goes with the left boot. Scrubby sort of kick taken by Howlett, though. Comes out to Stanton. Stanton goes around the corner. Comer couldn't get it. As a result, it's taken by Wright after a deflection from McKay. On the wing, heads down. Both players conscious of the other there. Eventually, John Cock got it from Walker. Backs towards the line. Van Berlo missed the footy. Comer was taken high.
Head down over the ball.
So a good start to the second half for the first gamer. Dennis spoke with his dad a few moments ago.
High tackle, Hurley. Arm on the shoulder.
Always a presence, isn't he, Hurley? And then off a step, quick kick in. Bell Chambers. Jacobs put a good effort in there. Now Davey, handball out wide. Dempsey, so important. Lovely hands to Howlett. Howlett out wide. Goddard just not on the move. Bagley brought down by Petrenko. So Petrenko's had some shoulder problems.
Play on.
It's an important part of his game, isn't it, that harassing and tackling. Talia with the guard on, you'll notice, broke his arm in the semi-final, or the first of the finals. It's a beautiful kick against Sydney to Ott. Now that's a slow kick, but Thompson read it well. Thompson and Dangerfield a little subdued in the first half. Gets to Vince. There's normally a beautiful kick, Bernie Vince. Goes to the pocket. Douglas went early. Porplesia still in. Porplesia goes back to Douglas. Douglas gets a pretty good angle on it. Van Berlo, and he tried to kick it almost out of the air without taking full control and rush through from behind. So that scoreboard for Adelaide, a little ugly at 4 goals 10.
Margin 13 points. Watson again providing an outlet. Well-weighted kick to Goddard. He can take it and move the defensive side of the wing. 3 of their stars right there onto the chest of Hurley. Hurley continues down the line. Hocking, a left footer. Thinks about going back to the middle. Now puts himself on his wrong peg. He kicks inside the forward 50. Off hands, Davey lurking. In trouble, taken down. Brilliant tackle by Brown. Got the ball loose. Dangerfield comes away. Kicks outside the defensive 50. That was great pressure by the Crows. Davey hit that ball hard. Beautiful kick, Henderson. Changes the angles completely. McKay is on. He'll take it and go. He loves this situation. McKay inside the forward 50. From behind, big leap by Douglas. Unrealistic, says the umpire.
Back here, Richard.
One of the challenges the Crows have at the moment is Taylor Walker's working exceptionally hard to push right up, but he's not there when the ball comes into their forward 50, and he's expending a lot of energy doing that. Might need to stay at home a bit more.
Goddard just had to be half volleyed by Myers. Back to Hibbert and to Fletcher. Just doesn't panic as you would expect. He equals Bernie Quinlan tonight on 366, Fletcher. So they're equal number 6 now on the all-time list. Kick by Hibbert. He can get to number 3 by the end of the year, Fletcher. Dempsey broke the tackle, uses Heppel. Heppel, a very good opening half. Neat little kick, actually, giving Cranberry half a charge. Merritt was clever to Davey, and Davey running in, and Essendon get the first goal of the second half, and they pinch a really big break.
All of a sudden, very early in this third quarter, there's a bit more space. Like the players are more spread out over the field, and so now the clearances were just the total reason why the side was in control in the first half. Now there's going to be some space to run, and you look at the players. Who are the players that are actually going to be able to carry the footy in the two teams?
Things not going their way. That was clever by Merritt. Kept it going, Goldwood. And Davey storming into the open goal, making it 8 of the last 9 for the Bombers. One down by Jacobs. Coming away Heppel after Dangerfield went to ground. Howlett, involuntary kick. Moved it towards half forward. Otten on his knees. Sloan, Thompson. Back to Otten. Goes out very wide, missed by Henderson. No real pressure on there. And Hibbert has a word.
1 metre. Paddy.
Gee, look at that scoring pattern.
Thank you.
It's the tail of the tape right there.
Yeah, that tells what's gone on with this game the last about 40 minutes of play.
So 8 of the last 9 of the Bombers.
Boundary throw in. Knocked down by Jacobs. Thompson to play on the footy. Close to the boundary line. Watson is taken across by Sloan.
Hold in. Thanks, guys.
So Adelaide marking time here, aren't they? I mean, they're stuck here. Watson's so important. Walker just in wrong positions a bit tonight, but he's been forced to come right up the ground. He kicked the opening goal of the match. Jacobs lays it down. Howlett's so important. And Watson, brilliant again tonight. Kicks the ball forward. Gee, Brown's pace off the mark's been important in those little cameo roles.
He'll settle with a bit more maturity in the game, just sort of still a bit unsure with his hands at the moment.
It's his 4th match. Premiership player last year at Nord. He's a Tea Tree Gully boy from up north. So Jenkins, well, big fly from Fletcher. Advantage, Petrenko to run in and do the Davey and kick the goal, and he does. So Adelaide get a much-needed one back.
Contest there. Dustin Fletcher asking the question. It didn't really matter in the end whether it was a free kick or not. To say the Crows needed that one's an understatement.
The margin's still very manageable. They've been inaccurate. It's the Crows as Hocking wins it out of the centre square. Kicks it down towards half forward. Brown. Plenty of pace on display from both sides right there. It was Davey who took Brown down. Wide is Comma, close to the boundary line, kicks inside the forward 50. Stanton on the half volley, almost handed it across to Crameri, and Crameri is escorted across the line by McKay.
Been very much a kicking game, Essendon. It's basically more kicks than handball, about 2-1 thereabouts.
Out of the congestion, Jacobs on the half volley. Vince couldn't control the footy. Now this will be interesting. It's going to be an Essendon free kick, I think.
Heads down.
That was involuntary because Vince initially had the footy and was following it through, but he collected Hocking high. The kick down towards full forward. Crameri was clever, knocked it down to his own advantage. Equally clever, Riley, and now Sloane's released around the outer side. Telling kick and a good one too, although with courage Bagley got back, bodied up on Petrenko, and the ball spilt off their hands and out of bounds.
Crows desperately need Dangerfield to get into the game. He's actually on interchange at the moment to get a bit of energy just to come back onto the field, but his ability to surge and carry the footy, that's the kind of breakaway they need to get themselves going.
They've been able to deny him a lot tonight, time and space, haven't they? So McKay off a step, up to centre wing. Hooker tapping the ball forward and high. Dempsey's free.
And James Hird made mention of that at half-time. They've had the better of Dangerfield and Thompson in the first half, but you just can't let them off the hook. Seeing Hocking coming off the ground at the moment, they've actually been going on and off together, Hocking and Dangerfield, so you just wonder whether he's okay.
Gee, Hibbert just took off and got through Paplesia a bit too easy, I reckon. Crameri at the back of this pack. Davey doesn't get a lot of the ball, but he's so dangerous. Now gets it to Howlett off a step, couldn't quite run down from the back by Dangerfield. Little give by Rutten, Riley, Yench, Van Berlo, brilliant Davey across the foot of Van Berlo, and then a free kick.
Gee, that's that sliding in below the shins, so Davey will get the free kick.
It's going to take some adjusting for the players.
It takes some adjusting. Quite often, the player actually, when he sees his opponent sliding, gets his legs out of the way. Because really, you don't want to loop him in there. You can get really badly damaged. But so that was the classic case where two players approach the footy, one dive to ground under the other guy's legs. He gets a free kick.
Well, what a contribution from Davey in this second half. He's already kicked one goal and now gets a second, and they re-establish a big margin here, the Bombers.
And he's smart to keep the ball in the area too, actually. Yeah. So his speed to that second effort speed of Alwyn Davies when he's really up and going and energetic is an enormous plus.
Well, here's the interpretation here. To make any contact below the knee, doesn't matter whether you're instigating, attacking the ball, is a free kick, and Brent Riley would have done that for, I would suggest, 25 years of his life.
And that's the problem, isn't it? Crowd unhappy, but no surprise there. Although 12 months ago we would have been hailing Riley as being courageous and getting lower. Things change in the AFL. There's Heppel hurriedly onto the boot. Moved it about 15 metres. Riley anxious to make amends, couldn't do so. Melksham knocked it down, then took it and kicks inside the forward 50. Hurley pursued by Talia. Brown trying to help out. He was hurt, Brown. They've got the spear man now. Howlett goes in and misses. Oh, that could have been big. That could have almost broken this game open.
It was a careful kick, wasn't it? He had a lot of time. He knew he had a lot of time. Tried to make a certainty of it. It's amazing when that happens. You tighten up and you just don't really kick through the footy. And that was his fault then.
He thought about giving it off at one stage, but he did the right thing, having the shot.
All of a sudden you think, well, what happens if I don't kick this? That's what just floats into your mind very quickly.
He's already equalled his career high tonight with a couple of goals, so he's made a terrific contribution. That's a good mark.
Thanks, him.
Any more from Porplusia, and that's just a scrappy old kick and opens it up. Merritt back to Melsham, who gets some distance on a spiral to full forward. Hurley and Talia, what a good test this is, getting to the boundary line. Richo?
Yeah, the sub's been made. That's young Luke Brown. He's got a problem with his left foot. He came off 5 minutes ago. He tried to go back on. Clearly no good. You can see Hurley trod on his foot there. So the sub has been made. Brodie Martin into the game.
So Martin on, and Zaharakis waiting. What a handy sub he's going to be, Phil, for the Bombers in the latter part of this match.
Heppel to Melksham to Stanton. Hooks it down towards the pocket, and the mark is held. Howlett, certainly not the tallest man in that pack. Wonderful judgment. He's marked about 20 metres out, slight angle.
That hurts in amongst three Crows. Get a good look at it here.
Just didn't have a defender on him, did he? So he could actually have his free jump at the footy.
Oh, he shouldn't mark that.
Is that the classic case, Tom, of defenders zoning rather than trying to play body? See it all the time.
I bet he's thinking this is the classic case too of the old 7-point play. 90 seconds ago, he booted it behind. Can he add to that with 6? He can. He's got 3 goals. He's had a big night.
That midfield battle we talked about, I mean, if you put Howlett and Heppel and Watson together, I mean, they're well in front of the best 3 Crow midfielders tonight.
Good combination. Dempsey started to get the ball. I always think Dempsey's really important. If he can get 20 disposals, it just usually gives the Essendon some bounce out of their back half. So he's an important possession gatherer, Dempsey.
So the last 10 goals, you can just see how the Bombers have dominated. Remember, the Crows led 3 goals 4-0 here, and now Essendon with the big lead of the match. Howlett 3 goals for the first time in his career. The game he's played brilliant by Ryder to Watson, and then Watson to centre half forward. Awkward bounce for Martin. He's just come on. Hurley, wonderful, and Bill Chambers, who had all day. He really could have just walked in and hammered it home.
I don't think he ever expects he's going to have all day, Bruce. When you're a big ruckman, you think someone's about to tackle him.
I was just about to think
he just hurried himself.
He'll look back at the tape and think, oh, God, that might not happen again for another 10 years.
Hasn't some of Ryder's ruck work in the middle been sublime tonight?
Yeah, that was breathtaking, wasn't it? Just laid it down into the path of Watson cruising past. This ball ricochets out of bounds. I think the Crows calling for out on the full, but the boundary umpire having none of that.
It's the Nick Naitanui ruck look, isn't it? That's the only the odd player. Ryder can do it. Naitanui does it a lot. Can just jump a hand higher than their opponent.
And just hang there for a moment.
Yeah.
So they'll bring it forward. That was Martin across to... Advantage is being paid. Vince has kicked it forward. Didn't see who went down, but Henderson has it anyway. So whistle's going, but Adelaide controlling the footy. Henderson inside the centre square. Goes long. Carlisle has been terrific on Walker. Still battles in there. Walker had the last touch. Ball spills towards the pocket. White tries to give it across to poor Pleasure out of mid-air, and he puts it through for a minor score.
You're right there, Dennis. Carlisle has been outstanding on Walker, matches him up there, and even on that occasion pushed back to apply the pressure to poor Pleasure. The defensive work away from the football's been great by the Bombers. That would please the coaching staff no end.
Got out to himself, and he brings it to our broadcast side. Otten from behind got a fist on it, falls to Thompson. Thompson, well, that was ambitious, couldn't get it through. Otten at close quarters to Vince. Vince pops it up. Reaching up high there was Taylor, but lurking behind was Douglas to take the mark on his chest.
Got to take their chances. They've just been a bit sloppy with their conversion. Haven't really missed that many sitters, the Crows, but they've they were 3-4, so they've basically kicked 2-7. So this set shot from about a 45-degree angle is very important for them to stay in the game. Can't keep missing.
So Douglas on the clock after Bill Chambers missed an easy one at the other end. This looms large. That's a beautiful kick. Douglas puts it through. Life in the Crows.
Finish. It needed it. So a couple of goals to Douglas.
They need to generate something now. Walker got the first goal, got them excited. They've got to get themselves back into the game, got to get the crowd involved in the game.
See those centre clearances quarter by quarter. The Bombers, their domination. So Douglas, the only multiple goal scorer. And again, the Bombers get it out. That's for the Crows. Multiple goal scorer. Thompson from Yench. Here is Douglas. Comer to put some pressure. Gee, Douglas some distance on that kick, but it's very wide. Well done by John Copp. Poor Pleasure, good looking kick. Sloane's got it. Well, the bell chambers missed suddenly. It would have been 32 points in front, the Bombers. And he dribbled it home. And perhaps he shouldn't have tried to dribble in the first place.
Quick leaving off halfback, wasn't it? When Alwyn Davies, he just ran out, caught himself, then dropped the ball. All of a sudden, when there's a quick turnover at halfback, then the team that has turned the ball over is completely out of position. And that was what happened to Essendon.
Started well Sloane tonight, but the Adelaide midfield's been outshone by Watson and Heppel and Howlett and co. And then Sloane, is it coming back? Gee, it was never a chance really, was it?
Disappointing kick. Fletcher starting his 21st season. Third in the best and fairest last season. That says something. Kicks it outside the defensive 50. Heppel, who's been good from the get-go. Melcham over the top. Myers. Opportunity here if they can run it through the middle. Well, Douglas missed his target, and his target got the football. That was Stanton. Gave it to Myers. Swings it out wide. Hibbert's a left footer. He can go on that left peg now. He can run to just outside the 50. He'll kick this, I reckon. He fancies himself. He lines up. He sends it for home, and it's a goal. Well, maybe the players didn't read the scouting report on Hibbert. He's a left footer.
Important thing too, when that ball went forward, it was Essendon jumpers in the screen. There was 2 or 3 of them outnumbering one Crows opponent, which is just an indication they're running a bit harder away from the congestion into space when that opportunity presents.
Just getting the basics right here. Just had an opportunity to really exert himself on that contest there, Douglas. And I think you're right, Dan. Didn't read the scouting report. Definitely left foot Hibbert.
He went off to Boulder with a select group Hibbert last year, so he's really elevated himself. Someone from the club this week told me that he's probably been the most outstanding player through the NAB Cup series for Essendon.
You know you're motivated if they take you to altitude training, Bruce?
Well, they only took 10. They only took 10.
That's what I mean.
and Hurley was the only non-midfielder. Here's Walker. But Hibbert was in that group. good take there down low by Jenkins, and I think he's going to get a free kick.
Well, what did they do? They tell everybody they were the 11 just to keep morale up.
I think so.
They would have been the 11.
So Adelaide sort of just hanging around, aren't they?
Who wants it?
It's a pretty good lead by the Bombers. So Josh Jenkins with a tippet number on his back.
Got it. There. Yep.
He's on the list at Essendon. Swapped over for pick 31, which it turned out to be Merritt, actually, both playing in the same game. So very much a work in progress, this young fella. And that off the boot looks pretty good. Oh, it's a good goal. Adelaide close it again.
Good for his confidence. I mean, that wasn't a big man's possession. He got the free kick, but he gets the free kick. He goes back and kicks the goal. He just feels better about himself. Next time there's an aerial contest, he will just be much more alive and confident when he goes for it.
Yeah, naturally talented athlete with the basketball background. You just saw he looked really comfortable kicking the ball. He had a nice, clean follow through, struck it well.
Technique.
There's Luke Brown on crutches. Played 3 games, I think, from memory last year. And it's a sad start to this season for him. So, still within touch, Adelaide. Jacobs knees it forward. Down goes Sloan. In real trouble, Howlett. Pushed in the back, says the umpire. It was almost a good tackle. Wasn't much in that. Just a bit of back. Howlett comes across the ground. Carlisle, who in appearance reminds me very much of the great Peter Stewart, who played at North Melbourne and West Perth. He's got that gallop about him. He drives from half back down towards half forward. Clears a couple of players down there. Hurley goes inside to Comma. Comma thought initially about the give to Hocking, then gave. Long kick down towards full forward. Going back deep in the pocket is Merritt. Still Merritt. Hand passes to the kickoff line. If he gets through, it's a goal. Melksham does. Well done, Merritt.
Well, it's great composure there by Merritt. Get the ball in play and took his time to find the right option, which was Melksham. Handled it well. Some of the younger players that we don't know too much about from Essendon, Merritt and Commer, I think have been pretty good tonight.
Give him a bit, yeah. He thought his way through. He was under pressure. He was on the boundary line, but he's maintained his composure to use the bit of space he had.
Always in the box seat. Didn't panic. Looked up, saw the eyes, found Melksham. That's a good one.
Those coaches said to Mackay, broken tackle, those broken tackles. It's such a frustrating.
I think Adelaide had a few of them in this quarter, to be truthful. They've been able to break the tackle. And Adelaide, the one thing they haven't been able to do is get consecutive goals since the first 3. Mackay running in. This is where he's so very good. And suddenly it's a goal fest. It's end-to-end stuff. The game opening up.
It's often the way, Bruce, in the early rounds in particular. It was a real arm wrestle of the first half and ebbed and flowed. Wasn't really free-flowing, but the players starting to get a bit more fatigued. And Lee's touched on in the first half in particular about the importance of those centre clearances. And Mackay always really impressed with just his running efficiency, covers the ground really well. And now the challenge for the Crows to get the next one.
It's like the chicken and the egg with centre bounce and goals. I mean, if you go into your forward line, it just hangs there for 5 minutes. But if you score and it comes back to the middle, the players separate, all of a sudden you have a better look in the game of footy.
Good comeback by Mackay because he missed the tackle a moment ago.
So the crowd now earning their keep. In other words, their side on. 19 points. Still 5 and a bit minutes remaining in this term. And in a full quarter to come. Stanton out of the middle meantime. Kicks inside the forward 50. It's going to be a free kick to Otten. Pushed in the back there by Cramley. Hasn't seen a lot of the footy tonight. Otten. Good to see him back. Lays it off. Yench, normally a good kick. Some indecision now. He sends it up towards the wing. Walker edged out of it and plucked by Carlisle, the man who did the edging.
Those buckets, Bruce.
And passes across to Hibbert. Hibbert goes long, gets a lot of spin on his ball too. It's punched away by Otten. Down in front, Rutten. Back to Otten. Gives it to Thompson. Run comes from Yench. Now Van Berlo goes across the ground. And the big guy will take the mark out there, Jacobs. Running hard for him is Douglas. Now Douglas with nobody up ahead can gather the ball. He can run to 50. He can take a shot at goal. John Cock. Well, John Cock, I think if he had his time over again, would have tried to shepherd it through.
I'd love to see the speed results of Dustin Fletcher over his career. I don't think he's lost a yard at all.
It's so hard to tackle front on, and because all you can do is take the footy. If you take any other part of John Cock's body, it would have been a free kick to him.
I wonder if KB and Tucky are getting a bit nervous that the 400 club might not be theirs alone. I mean,
Adam Goods just signed for another couple of years as well.
yeah, well, he's...
Zaharakis has been subbed on, boys. Cramery is the man out of the game.
They'd probably like some new blood. They wouldn't be big nights, just the two of them sitting, sipping sherry. Well, KB doesn't sip sherry, does he?
Doesn't guzzle it either, does
That's a
it?
cup of tea, just
that's
cup of
right.
tea.
Tommy Hafey. So right off a step. So Zaharakis on, as Richo told us. Jenkins, big fly. Hibbert got a push from the back. The thump away Walker. And then Van Berlo did pretty well. Van Berlo. Paul Pleasher's a good finisher. Just misses. But Adelaide making a move here, you feel.
Yeah. Both sides been resilient tonight. Early on it was Essendon, and quite often in round one games they can be determined by fitness. So you can be a bit off the pace, and if you're the fitter team, sometimes you can still get the points. We're yet to find out which is the fitter team. Over the football Dangerfield, can he give them something? He goes to ground, he might get a push in the back, and he does. He magnified that one.
Not getting much space from Hockey. All he can do is just keep boring in like that and hope that you can win a close-in ball. Hockey's done a really good job. He only had 11 possessions.
Looking for Taylor Walker. Hands to it, couldn't hang on. Fletcher dives after it. Walker still a play on the ball. Spills wide Jenkins. Tackled by Carlisle. Ball jarred out of there. Plenty of bombers around it. 4 of them, in fact. They couldn't clear it initially. Thompson's kick went 5 metres. Taken by Dempsey. Kicks it outside the 50. Hocking was pushed in the back that time. Advantage is paid. Zaharakis a little 1-2. Ryder gave him back the ball, and Zaharakis goes down towards half forward into the path of Merritt. He can chase his own ball. This ball is hanging in the air for a long time. Bounces down towards the kickoff line. Yenshu was chasing Merritt, chased the footy. He got it, goes across the ground. Could almost be 50 that. McKay takes the mark.
Gee, good hands, McKay. At full pace, took the mark. It was a good kick by Yench as well under pressure. McKay takes a chance, shows a lot of the footy. Merritt's been good. Davy's been really good. And the father of 4 kicks his 3rd goal in the 3rd quarter. Oh, that was big.
It's a nice lead. One of the things you always notice in the first round or 2 of the season is the last quarter, I reckon, is the most fatigued players ever get for the season as they're getting their match conditions. So as the games open up and there's more run in it, gee, they're going to be tired in the last quarter. So it will be a bit of a last man standing. If you can take a lead into 3-quarter time, it's going to help heaps.
Davey with 3 goals, his best effort against these Crows. His career high is 4. But the mistake coming out by Adelaide showed too much of it to the Bombers, and they paid the price. Bell Chambers taps it down this time. Goddard, his 10th possession, hooks it down towards half forward. Bounces wide, coming up is Hurley, slides on his knees, dangerous practice. Van Berlo stayed on his feet, won the footy. Goes short to Wright. Wright's got it, backward of the wing. Both sides fighting their kicking boots in this term. Wright gently, well, that was a nondescript kick as it turned out. Melksham, Hibbard, gave it across towards Merritt, feeds it forward. Melksham once more, now Goddard striding out towards half forward. High ball, Watson will be dangerous here. Otten, knowing that, was taking no chances. He wanted that ball dead out of bounds. Let's go to Tom.
I know it's only early days, but we've spoken a bit about Carlisle. He's going to be an outstanding defender this year. He's been right on top of Tex Walker, been one of the bright lights for the Bombers tonight.
So Bell Chambers and Jacobs. Thompson, Dangerfield was with him. 2 players that haven't had a lot of ball for them tonight.
Now we've got a ball up in Essendon's forward pocket. Now Walker's still Adelaide's made forward. He's about the front of the centre square. In other words, he's about 60 metres from the ball. You sometimes wonder, I know he's trying to help Essendon stop scoring, but he just gets out of his dangerous area.
He hasn't taken a mark, Lee, since that first goal of the match. So he hasn't really had any impact, and he's been rarely in a threatening position, has he?
He's been firstly playing as a midfielder because
Exactly.
that's the way the structure of the team has been set up.
So it was a good mark by Henderson. He's been up on the wing so often, hasn't he? He's right. So how do Adelaide set up in this final term? Well, the first thing they're going to have to do is win some centre clearances, get those midfielders rolling. Jenkins sort of threw it out. Van Berlo beaten to it. Quick pick by Hibbert, and then belted away by Otten. He's done that. Henderson it was. He's Comma. Good tackle. And Douglas. Could Adelaide get one against the flow here? So John Cock looking up now.
Well, that's just floated up as the Essendon sort of midfielder pushing back into that extra man back, so it makes it hard for the Crows to go in.
And their chance seems to have gone for a late goal. So Essendon are going to have a good lead at three-quarter time here. Last time they won a match, Essendon was on this ground against Port Adelaide last year. So Adelaide, with that clock against them, Walker front spot, and Carlo with him. So a free-flowing quarter. Adelaide kicked 4, but the Bombers managed 6. We'll be talking to Brendan Sanderson at three-quarter time after the huddle. Heard he'd be pretty happy. The Bombers lead by 23. It's Friday night football in Adelaide. It's 85-62.
And Sanderson, as we start this final term, and the Crows with a lot to do. Down by 23. The Stars haven't started tonight. Opening bounce. Jacobs has to wait. Goes with the backhander looking for Dangerfield. Dangerfield still working hard. Henderson dragged off the kick. It only went 15 metres. And this guy has been terrific, Dempsey. That run, all important. He goes down towards the 50. Myers dropped it. Goes back after it. Comma. Nice pickup, running hard to the boundary, pulls it back towards the kickoff line. Up goes Otten, follows on to Otten. He's got the footy, lacking support, tries to give it to Rutten. He went to ground. In there is Myers. It comes back towards Rutten. And I think the umpire will call for it, so we'll have a throw up in that pocket.
Again, Comma looking very much on place. There's a good left foot coming back in. There's Dangerfield. Can he impose himself in this final term? Nice, trying to get through Watson. 25 disposals to three-quarter time. Dangerfield.
Good tackle.
Gee, that's a big win for Hocking.
Good tackle, and the feeling, obviously, the umpire's interpretation didn't try hard enough to get a legal disposal and the holding the ball.
Right on your angle. No closer to the side, please.
Howlett cutting across in front of him really took away the handball option for a moment, didn't it? But Hocking has harassed him brilliantly for most of the night, and now really makes life hard for Adelaide. The Bombers are in a great position right now.
Kicked the goal. He's pretty much been on Dangerfield most of the night, Hocking, and they've shared possession. So if ever you can get a situation where, you know, at the moment they've both had a dozen disposals, Dangerfield hasn't been able to break into space. So I'm certainly, from Essendon's point of view, that he has been one of their very best players with Hocking in the role he's played tonight.
The H's have done well, haven't they?
Richo, you spoke at the start of the game about Tex Walker being the real match winner. He's pushing high up into the half forward, leaving poor Pleasure deep. Would you swap them round?
No doubt, Tom. He's your match winner. He's capable of kicking 3 or 4. This quarter, he's probably not going to be able to do it up the ground. Get him back, one out.
Contact below the knees. Essendon free.
Crowd aren't going to like this, but
Thank you.
kick against Dangerfield.
Play on.
Pavlov's dog. They're just going to learn eventually, the players, as the ball goes down inside the forward 50. Talia goes back. He's over the footy. Run off the line of it, though. Merritt gets it across to Zaharakis, pulls it back towards full forward. Coming on the angle is Martin, hesitated slightly. Rutten. And eventually they'll work it out. Van Berlo's got it, and he got it from Jensch.
Been coming out slow, though, hasn't it? All night they've kicked inaccurately, the Crows, but certainly they've just been slow out of defence.
And this kick has been hard for them all night too.
Yeah.
Almost again there. Watson couldn't mark it. Martin hooks at about 30 metres. John Cock at the interchange gates. This ball rolls across the line. We'll have a boundary throw in.
Well, they just haven't been able to get enough run and carry through the middle, and that's what they did so well last year. That doesn't give your forward line much of a chance at all.
Well, Essendon not home yet, and they more than any other team, I'd suggest, in the competition at the moment, know that you can't take things on face value. Down goes Watson, stolen away by Van Berlo.
Kicks to full forward. Fletcher. Paul Pleasure against him. Fletcher went. Probably should have taken the marking away there. Hooker belts it forward. Heppel's been so good, particularly in that first half where things were going against. Now, is that deliberate? It's a kick along the line.
Yeah, that's harsh, isn't it?
I reckon.
I mean, he's along the line. That's a harsh call.
He actually couldn't have done much more than what he did. He kept it in for 20 metres. That is real harsh.
And Watson was in the vicinity, wasn't it?
Yeah, no, it's a tough one. Richo, you talked about no run from Adelaide. 2 running bounces for the Crows tonight. None from Dangerfield, but only 2 for the team. Sloane's kick inside. 50 Walker had a little look there. Couldn't quite. Good tackle there and might have got him, I think.
Prior opportunity there.
Martin getting to Bagley.
Out. Nathan, work out. Brody, Mark's here.
So the sub coming on for Brown, the injured Brown,
Seconds, Brody.
in that third quarter. It's been around a long time, Brody Martin. This is his 5th season. He's only played 17 games, including tonight. He's had his injury problems. So often he's been the 23rd or 24th guy when the selectors are sat down to pick the team. And that ball not going to be a score directly, but belted through. But what a big, big margin this is in the context of the night. Adelaide, there's so much to do here.
Dustin Fletcher. Drives it well outside the defensive 50 then. Ryder had it knocked away by Rutten. The hurried kick by Jacobs. Inside the forward 50. Getting back Dangerfield. Dragged down again. Hand pass from Jenkins to Vince. The pressure terrific from Essendon. Was that high, though, over the shoulder of Van Berlo in the back. Well, they worked for it, and they got the free. It wasn't pretty.
Basically, when you look at kickouts in 2013, it's almost gone back 40 years. Now, with the way the press has gone, it's mostly a long kick, 60 metres from goal. No one's going into the back pocket because you get trapped in there, so it's largely just driving the ball long. The cycle.
That's what happens, isn't it? Van Berlo runs inside the 50 and slots it. So there's still a pulse.
Bit of noise from the Adelaide crowd. They haven't really been able to get the crowd into the game. It's amazing the energy that can be created by the home crowd if they really get excited in the contest. But even when they kicked that goal, there was a little bit of noise, but nothing that sort of really exploded to get a bit of a rush of adrenaline through the Crows jumpers.
It is one of the most hostile crowds when you play here, when they're up and about the Crows supporters. The 19th man need a bit of help, the boys.
Well, one of the reasons the crowd has not been involved, Adelaide has not kicked consecutive goals since the first quarter.
Yeah.
So this next couple of minutes, you feel like could tell a tale in this whole match. If Adelaide get the next goal, then it's certainly game on. Gee, Ryder has been so impressive at getting over the top of all comers in that centre square.
Well, he's such a good ruckman, Jacobs, in terms of he's the best hit out to advantage ruckman in the competition. But Ryder's ability just to leap higher been very impressive.
So Jacobs wins that one to Thompson to Sloane. So a bit of the old firm there with the youngster Sloane to full forward. And speaking of the old firm, Fletcher mopping up as he so often does. Lovely kick. She's got a great leg, hasn't he? Out wide to Goddard. Quite his night in his first match, but he kicked an important goal. Down the line, Myers. So the Bombers building here.
Myers takes something off this kick, 2-on-1. Hurley, one of the two, takes the mark, kicks inside the forward 50. Plummer went back with courage, as a result forced to spill. Davey over the top. Oh, well done, Paul Pleasure. Closing on Bell Chambers, who that time didn't have all day.
In the goal score, you think here's a goal coming up, and they just converged on him.
Sloane gets it from Thompson. Out they come quickly. They need to maintain that momentum, Tommy.
They do. You've got to take risks through the middle of the ground, get some run going. The idea was right, but just needed to flow on with the second possession.
McKay got it from Henderson. Kicks towards half forward. If you're in front, you got to get a free. And Taylor Walker was in front. Now, this is not beyond him. He can thump these kicks. Well, I'm not sure what he's trying to do there, just putting it high to the kickoff line. Jenkins may have been the target, taken by the man coming through, Van Berlo, who could have been taken high, and I think he's hurt behind play, Van Berlo. Meantime, it's with Watson. No, Van Berlo seems to be okay. Meantime, Hocking, relative term okay. Ball comes out of the 50, marked by Ryder. Ryder goes beyond the wing, and he finds Merritt.
Gee, he moved like a big midfielder there, Ryder, didn't he? He was absolutely brilliant. I wonder about Watson in the back half there, just holding up when they needed a strong body. So maybe Adelaide had their best shot there with that kick in, and it felt like they were on the move, and Essendon were able to hold them up. Howlett, big night for Howlett, 3 goals, 1. Missed the easy one, actually. They've been able to control the tempo well here, the Bombers. Merritt, impressive. And a lovely mark by Henderson. He is a streaky type player, Henderson, isn't he?
Yep.
So can Adelaide get away here? Martin, Davey trying to run him down. Out wide, Goddard, good mark. And then Goddard squares it.
Dempsey, Stanton on the overlap. That's a probing kick inside the forward 50. Well, the 2 guys didn't impact the ball down there for Adelaide. Talia, one of the 2, gets back, aided by a third. That's Riley. Goes to Sloane in the back pocket, kicks it out very wide towards the boundary. And Walker tracks it out, and his shadow is right there, step for step. That's Carlisle. Henderson feeling the effects of that contest. They had the 2-on-1, but neither Crow touched the ball in flight. Boundary throw in. Ryder up very high. Myers has been handy around the packs too. Touched off his boot. Davey went to ground. Putting his head down was Comma. Could have almost been holding the ball there, Comma. He was playing for the kick. Spills across towards Otten. Look at the Bombers come at him. A wave of Bombers. McKay, though, gave it to Sloane. He, in turn, gave it to Yench. Yench's high ball towards the outer side. And Carlisle has been the victor in that contest. Takes the mark and goes to Hawker.
Well, that again highlights the problem with Taylor Walker playing so far up the ground. When the ball does come into his area, when he is holding his form, he's exhausted.
Well, so structurally, he's been playing as a midfielder, hasn't he? Not a forward 50 play, but a midfielder.
So Hurdy down on the ground. Dangerfield. It's been 8 months and 8 days since the Bombers have actually won a home and away game. It was on this ground against Port Adelaide last year.
Probably their best game last year, late in the year, was round 19 against the Crows, wasn't it?
It was their last roll.
A 4-point loss. Yeah.
Well, they were 6th. They were 6th at that stage, Lee, and Adelaide were 3rd. It was really their last roll of the dice. So they've actually travelled well with Hurdy in terms of, away matches. They're 6 out of their last 9, 6 out of 10 all up. They were 6 out of 41 prior to that. They could never win away from home, but tonight they're in a winning position. Okay, he's had some ordinary moments tonight. He's had some good ones with the goal, but he made a couple of bad blues in the 3rd quarter, and that's a real stumble, literally. And Merritt out wide.
Real chance there. Merritt, the longer it's gone, the better he's got. Hugs the boundary with a kick. We've seen a lot of that. Hurley going very wide on his leads. Bretton Sanderson working the phone. He's had a couple of honeymoons in the last 6 months. One with the Adelaide supporters and one with Veronica. Got married in January. Melksham, Howlett, Myers. High ball inside the 50. Edged underneath at Comma. Mark is taken by Van Berlo. Swings it to the opposite pocket. Fresh man. Oh, he got himself into trouble there. Lost his momentum. He almost stumbled, did Martin. The ball trickles across the boundary line. And they dodge a bullet right there. That could have finished them off. They're naming names.
Yeah, he probably would have got the free kick if the umpire had been in the other side of the contest, but nevertheless, no use getting one let down into 2 by giving away a free kick for abuse.
Yench, Van Berlo tries to go back to Yench. It's come unglued. Hand pass from Merritt to Zaharakis. He's a bit rusty. Early in the season, hasn't played a lot of footy. He just hangs it out to the right, started as the sub.
Didn't play a NAB Cup game, played 3/4 in the VFL last Friday. No, gee, poor Please just missed there. Could have ended any hope Adelaide have got, but they dodge a bullet. Riley. Not much room for error now for the Crows. Sloane fetching it with Fletcher. And Essendon hold it up. Just feel like if Essendon can hang on and win here, the emotion will be just enormous, not only at this ground, but all over Victoria.
Yeah.
Such a difficult pre-season for them, and the uncertainty going forward this year still. Well done, McKay, to Jenkins. Good give, running hard right. Good build-up, Paul Pleasure. Douglas looks up. Well done, Walker, just his second mark tonight.
And both marks have been deep inside the forward 50, so we've spoken a lot about his unrewarded running, but good build-up here, and you just watched Walker at the top of screen. That's where it's his natural habitat, isn't it, coming up at the ball
And
from the
knowing
goal
when to move. I mean,
Yep.
he went back. He knew that he had a bit of space. Just go with the kicker.
Well, this keeps Adelaide alive. He's a good straight kick. He's kicked 2, and Adelaide close a little here. Consecutive goals. Now, if he gets 1 or 2 more, you just feel like if he can get in the right position here, as he did there, then Adelaide is still half a chance here, aren't they?
No, well, he's the one who's most likely to kick 2 or 3 from this point onward, isn't he? But the centre bounce is critical. Just can they actually get the ball quickly forward and then actually put the Essendon defence under pressure again straight away.
So margin. Points. Bill Chambers decisively down to Watson. Goes with the outside of the boot. Oh, that's a clever mark. Battle of strength won by Yench. Henderson headed for the rooms. Yench very demonstrative. Not always a good thing. Kicks it up towards the wing. Bill Chambers reaches over the top. Got a timely fist on it. Comma. He'll be happy with his debut, and so will his dad, Mark. There goes the kick down towards the pocket. Coming up is Myers, and the ball comes off his hand and goes out of bounds.
Stay a metre, Tom!
So Myers been given a chance
Thank
to
you, that's fine.
find a place on the forward line. He's been certainly contesting strongly down there. The ruckman lock up. Thompson trying to crash his way through. Goes after the footy. Howlett, though, controlled it. Stanton, Watson, very high ball, not 15. Sloan, Thompson, well, not 15. Apparently it was.
So Thompson tonight coming up for his 19th disposal. He averaged 30 last year. And Dangerfield, who averaged 27 last year, is on 13. Whereas Watson's closing on 30 again tonight. He's on 29, which was exactly his average in his Brownlow medal year. Kick to centre wing. Oh, good mark, Goddard. He's actually got a body similar to Watson's, Goddard, isn't he? Maybe he doesn't weigh quite as much, but he'd be about the same height. A bit similar at times the way he even moves. Right, sloppy handball on the up comma has been good enough, that's for sure. To Bill Chambers. Well, that certainly wasn't 15. Douglas, now could something happen here? Really important ball. Fletcher so often, Mr. Fix-It. Out to Davey, running hard. Still Davey, clever. Stanton, who kicked that opening goal to break the drought in that first quarter for the Bombers. Hurley was just terrific. Manhandled Talia. Riley, not for the first time tonight, up the front with Hurley. Heppel down low, back to Hurley.
Oh, that was fantastic by Michael Hurley. Just took them on and kept taking them on. Well done. Oh. The way he worked himself into position to try and take that mark, strength and cunning. Good combination in marking situations. Rutten to the pocket. Douglas, still time. Towards the wing and right. Just get the feeling that Adelaide is starting to stretch out a little bit better. This will be interesting, though. Ball to be won. Petrenko's over it. Strong tackle. Zaharakis took him front on. And the umpire will ball it up. Good recovery by Petrenko. Melcham, desperate at the interchange gates. Meantime, there's the bounce. Bill Chambers down to Watson.
30th disposal for the Brownlow medalist. To Stanton, running hard. Does he go over the top? He goes laterally to Heppel. Now they go over the top. Howlett's kicked 3. That's a career high. Make it 4. Geez, had a good night, hasn't he?
Has been a good grip. I mean, and Watson's been magnificent, no doubt about that. So has Stanton got into the game gradually. Heppel's been good, but he's, I mean, really, to be able to get a bit of the ball around the middle and help out in that area of the ground and then be able to the end of 4 goals set up. Well, not at the end, but he's actually got in the right spot to have his 4 goals.
(59, 10, 15). But now time is a factor.
When Howlett kicked that goal, Watson set it up with his clearance here on the wing, and he was pumped when that goal went through from Howlett. I think he knows they may be home now.
Watson in the action again. Myers, Heppel. Force a way through there, nothing doing. Well done by Sloan to Thompson. Inside the forward 50, within range is Taylor Walker. Needs to go back and slot this.
Having his second shot at goal for a last quarter. I mean, really, it's, every kick you can get in the forward 50 is worth about, I reckon, 8. Every 8 you get outside kicking distance when you're a player like Walker.
15, Taylor.
He's on the clock, as you can hear. He's done a lot of running tonight, hard running. He's entitled to be pretty tired, despite the fact he hasn't amassed big stats, and he kicks from 60. And this kick is pretty good. He puts it through. What a powerful leg.
It's interesting, like, talking to someone at the club this week, and Dennis talked about how much he's run tonight, and they do a 5-minute time trial at the Crows. You run for 5 minutes, see how far you can run.
Yeah.
He apparently can just about keep up with the midfielders. He's got a really big engine.
So he has got the engine to do it. But nevertheless, it's where you want them to get the footy as well.
Oh,
It's not
no doubt.
That's the issue with when you've got a big forward who can find the ball in the forward 50. That's really where you want them to be most of the time.
Well, it's a weapon, isn't it? That kick of his is a... I mean, anything from 60 metres, he's a real chance.
Magnificent technique too, as he makes beautiful contact.
So Walker with a couple of last quarter goals. Adelaide back within 3, but they just need a quick one here. Van Berlo.
Just wheel and go now. Just got to go. Even numbers in the Crows forward line now.
So the Crows. Walker again was, well, it went to Jenkins and Hawker in the end. Walker was in the frame, wasn't he? You'd be giving Walker as much room as possible.
You would.
They're the things, I guess, the chemistry between key forwards.
Yeah.
Those two need to work out, which Tippett and Walker had. And he's also just got to get the arms out there, imposes sheer size on the contest there, Jenkins.
Boundary throw in. Quick goal to the Crows, and they've got ample time then to get over 2. They'll need 13 points if they get a goal here. So it's eminently doable. And he senses that. Brenton Sanderson working on the phone. James Hurd just feeling content with what's gone before and hoping what comes next is much the same. Just seems the run now is with Adelaide. Dangerfield and McKay comes across the ground into the path of Johncock. Johncock takes the mark. He can double back. There's a man on it, centre half forward, hasn't spotted him. He goes long inside the forward 50 from the side. Martin off hands. Petrenko a half chance. Tracks it towards the boundary line, and we'll have a boundary throw in.
Gee, Walker was on a long lead. We talked a moment ago. The Crows do this 5-minute session where you run as far as you can, and Walker keeps up with the midfielders, and he was the man they probably should have gone to there. He was on the lead. Dempsey been so good tonight. Doesn't really get it out of the danger zone. Awkward bounce. Dangerfield didn't give a free away. Zaharakis got down low. Crows with some numbers. Heppel charged in. Dangerfield brought down. Porplicius had a few fumbles tonight. Vince trying hard. Spins in the tackle. Sloan held up. Martin, good one too. Back to Sloan. Back in board. Porplicius. Vince. Stanton took Vince right up the front there. Hooker smothered by Sloan. Hard ball. Tex. Does he? Not quite. They are starting to tighten the screw, though. You feel like this game is really on.
Sure, was great pressure from both sides, wasn't it? No easy ball in there. And now he's starting to walk with a little more, I suppose, I was going to say lack of conviction. That wouldn't be right, but the nerves have got him up and about. James Hurd as Hibbert drives out of the defensive area. Jacobs stretches over Bell-Chambers, takes the mark. There's a man on short, spots him now. That's Douglas. Douglas, though, too intent on trying to outmaneuver Fletcher. And ghosting across in front of the pair was Dempsey. Dempsey comes back towards the wing. Bell-Chambers set a task. Fortunately for Essendon, it bounces out of bounds. So just over 4 minutes to go.
Two very tight kicks from both players there. Just the one-step kick and just enough to put you off and turn the ball over.
Now that clock becomes a real issue, doesn't it?
Yeah.
Essendon can milk a minute or two, and that's a great result for them. I think Watson's favoured to get the 3 Brownlows tonight, but Howlett won't be far away, and that's a magnificent-looking kick to Hurley, making some room for Goddard, brought down in the tackle. Henderson. Well, this is the big play of the night, you reckon? What Adelaide do from here? Out wide. Essendon have done well to hold them a bit. Thompson, did he do enough? He works his way back in. They corral him. Good stuff, the Bombers. Well played, Dangerfield, off a step. Didn't have enough on the leg. And Howlett, who's starred tonight. 4 goals. How many disposals, Dennis?
23. He's been very good. So much tough stuff. Sends it forward to the wing, and you get the feeling now Essendon are home, and they'll celebrate regally, I would think, after this. Douglas comes away, kicks to midfield. Walker getting off the chain late in this game. Thumps one inside the forward 50. Going back, Fletcher.
He's always just on the end of the ball that goes into the Essendon defensive 50. He's been just knows exactly where to go, and he's got the hallmark of the great defender. He can direct his spoil. Well, doesn't just punch it, he directs it. He's entitled to have a sense of deja vu, I reckon. Had plenty of practice.
I reckon he's seen everything.
Well, he plays that anchor role perfectly, where on the other side of the coin, we've been talking about Walker as an anchor forward.
Yeah.
Stanton left half back then, kicks beyond the wing. Pack assembles, duly competes, comes to Comma, slips it away to Zaharakis, to Melksham. In trouble, Howlett. Got his arms free. That was brilliant. Gave it to Watson. Watson to space and Ryder. Ryder just inside the 50. Lays it off to Heppel. Heppel, that's a very clever kick. Oh, that's silk so late in the night.
Como was involved in the play up in the middle of the ground, and he's ran forward and been able to get on the end of the kick in. I mean, he's been very lively, not a high possession guy. His dad even pointed that out, but he's actually been very, very lively and very energetic whenever he's been near the contest.
That's 15 seconds.
So Comma. Kicks. And kicks truly. What a nice debut it's been.
Dare I say, Dennis, Comma puts an exclamation mark on the match, I think, don't you? It's all done.
Hey, it's a long season, bro.
Oh, look,
we just saw James Hird in the interchange bench there trying to look composed and controlled, like I'm not going to be...
He'd be very happy.
Internally, he would be bubbling. Absolutely bubbling that they've been able to get... I mean, the cloud over the club's one thing, but just the fact that they've got home in the first game of the year after being so poor late in the 2012 season.
So there's a Comma family.
There it is.
Dennis had a chat to Mark. There he is getting up high, Mark, with a mobile phone. And he was a pretty fair marker. I think he's had a good match.
Started the game really well, looked composed from the outside. Another mature recruit making his name at AFL level.
So Adelaide haven't stopped trying, but the Bombers have had all the answers, and what's been a fantastic performance by them tonight, and just a great result. Lee talked about composure and overcoming obstacles before the match, and they trailed by 22 points at the start of this match, didn't they?
Early on, at the 10-minute mark, it was like, we've started how we finished the end of last year.
7 scoring shots to nothing early. So Adelaide, who protected Footy Park, it was like a fortress for them last year. They're going to drop the opening game, and Essendon, despite all their problems at the start of this year, and who knows what's going to happen throughout the year, are going to have a really, really big win tonight, one that they're going to talk about for a long time.
Myers getting a free. A lot of speculation, too, about how Essendon would be received at this ground tonight. Well, I think they've been received very well. Certainly, we're not aware of anything that has been directed their way. Certainly no banners. We'll find out more, I'm sure, at the completion of the game, but they've been treated with respect.
Gee, Heath Hocking's had a good game tonight. Charged with the responsibility of Dangerfield after halfway through the first quarter, and has just stuck to his guns all night, been outstanding.
Hird and his co-coaches have had a very good night. They've negated some good players on the opposition side. Here's Melksham to Watson, who hasn't been negated for more than a second or two all night. That's magnificent. That's the cream. 111.82. Gee, they don't jump to conclusions early at Essendon, do they? They've just decided they've got it won.
Yeah, that's about the time. The last minute or two, 3 or 4 goals in front, Dennis. Then you can enjoy it, can't you?
You feel like that's a month and a half of emotion spilling over a bit just there, wasn't it?
Like that, yeah.
Just, it's a great reaction. What about Watson? I mean, when looking at Bomber Brownlow medalist, when Wanganeen won the Brownlow, he got 3 votes the very first game of the next year. When Hurdy won the Brownlow, he got 2 votes the very next game. I reckon Watson will get the 3 tonight, don't you?
Pretty fair chance away. We said, I reckon the club championship, though, Hocking will be right up with him, but probably not in Brownlow votes, because he's just done the job. Yep. He's done his role, but he's not going to probably be in the best 3 on the ground.
Gee, this is a really interesting reaction, isn't it? I mean, that tells a tale. So a tale of 2 teams tonight, one that was expected to win at home and has hit a roadblock, and Essendon against a lot of odds tonight. And this man here has just been magnificent. 10 times last year, 30 disposals in his Brownlow season, and tonight he's on 34. And that goal, just finishing it off, and they might get one more, and they will get one more. Oh, what a night it's been. Myers celebrates, high draft pick like many of his mates, and the Bombers are winning big, and Hurdy...
Yeah, now he's looking happy. That's what we like. Enjoy it.
He's meant a lot to Joe Watson. He's celebrated every goal that he's been involved in, and you're right, Bruce, a lot of expectations and pressures and all those sorts of things going into the players into this game, and I think that could lose sight of the fact that they've come also into a pretty hostile environment and won away from home as well. Forget about all the other stuff. This is a big win for a number of reasons.
We hear the expression all the time about, you know, we just want to play.
Yep.
But that's because footballers are the most comfortable out in the middle of a football field.
So, at the end of a summer of discontent, a triumphant night for this team in the black and the red.
Congratulations to the Essendon Football Club, victors by 35 points.
Big win for the Bombers.
Bombers fly up to win the premiership flag. Our boys who play this grand old game are always striving for glory and fame.
The CEO and the coach together, now the captain. 117 to 82.
They don't fear. They all try their best, but they can't get near as the Bombers fly up.
So Richo's on his way out. I reckon he's going to zoom in on the number 4. Walker with his 3 goals, a little cameo late. So let's go down to you, Matty. It's all yours, Richo.
Well, Joe, obviously a tumultuous off-season. Must be so satisfying to get out here and get the 4 points in Adelaide.
Yeah, it has been a tough 6 weeks, Richo, and I just thought that the way the group sort of stayed really close and together, and we lean on each other, and that's all you can do. And then for us to be able to go and actually play tonight, it was just a real reward and a relief.
You never really know how it's going to affect players. Were you confident that you'd come out and be able to play like this tonight?
Yeah, look, I mean, you don't ever know, but I was confident, probably because the time at the club has been the best for the players. Yeah. So when that's the case, it sort of shows, I guess, that the footy is the thing that we're really clinging to stay positive and stay together.
Well, that's what you're here for, to play footy. You did it well. What did you like most about your win tonight?
I just thought we grinded it out the whole night, and I thought it was a really consistent team performance, and to keep the Crows to sort of just 80 points, I thought it was a really good achievement.
You're pretty happy at the end. You kicked a nice goal. Yeah. You're up and about.
Yeah, I was probably over-celebrated a little bit, but I think it's just it's a lot of relief, and there's it's good, and it's a long season, so we'll just concentrate on Melbourne.
You would have been happy with this man, Dyson. You look pretty comfortable in the midfield.
Good on you, Richo. Yeah, no, it's a fantastic result tonight. Really enjoying the footy, really enjoyed the pre-season, and it's unbelievable to get the win over here.
You're confident in your own ability to go into the midfield and have an immediate impact like you have had tonight?
Oh, well, I guess I've done a fair bit of work over the off-season with the midfield group, and Simon Goodwin's, I guess, pushed me pretty hard, so it's just great to get the result, yeah.
It must be wrapped. You didn't get any goals out of your key forwards in Crameri and Hurley tonight, but everyone else, your midfield contributed.
Yeah, well, that's fantastic. You know, get an even spread of guys kicking goals. You know, Benny Howlett, Bob's up for 4, and it's fantastic. Unreal.
Get around your mates that are down there. It's good work, boys.
Gee, that effervescence of Heppel was just... And Watson's leadership, he just continues to grow. I mean, a Brownlow medalist, a captain, a 3-time best and fairest at the club, you know, the son of the famous Tim Watson.
Great might be on the way. Don't know when it comes, but I think it might eventually come for Jobe. He's just become a wonderful player this last couple of seasons.
Well, you feel his impact is so great now, don't you? I mean, when he does something,
all-round
team
midfielder.
G. Dempsey, I thought, was so important, didn't you, tonight?
He was certainly within the best sort of 3 or 4 on the ground. Jobe Watson just is standing in the game. I mean, he's won a Brownlow medal, but I think you really judge people sort of in triumph and adversity. He's come in, he's captained the club in a really tough time. He's put on a best on-ground performance. He even said, I probably over-celebrated a few things, but that's just raw emotion. Great to see.
And Lee came up against Dangerfield and Thompson tonight, who, in terms of what Watson does well, they normally do very well themselves, don't they?
Yeah, fantastic combination. Thompson got a bit of the ball. Dangerfield was kept to a really ordinary game by his own standards compared to Hocking, so that was really important that Watson and Fletcher's just fantastic in the back. I thought this principle of the bonding through shared adversity, which you see it happen in various forms, and I don't think you can't say that's what happened tonight, but it does sometimes when you're under adversity as a group. It's amazing how it does have a bonding effect.
And key individuals often elevate themselves within a group when really trying times, and that's not necessarily a skill set. And Jobe's had to carry that club on the back of his shoulders. He's come out and put on a great performance, and his stocks as a leader in the AFL have risen for sure. Goddard
there, we'll talk about his game a little bit later. He kicked that goal, didn't have a whole lot of footy, spent some time in the back line. Not sure how many times he was in the centre for the centre clearances, but all in all, it's just a great result for a team that...
It's a great win for Essendon, but a bad loss for Adelaide. They just... Today it was a bad game tonight for them.
Plenty of gusto there. It's been a long time since they won a home and away game, and tonight it was 117 Essendon to Adelaide 82.